Of course, it's a great afternoon right here on Ubuntu channel. If you are watching for the first time, we are saying welcome to Ubuntu channel. We are so glad that you are a part of the family. Also, what you can do is quickly get to call your friends, your family, and everybody that is close to you to tell them that Ubuntu channel is live, as well as so that they can like, share, and comment on this particular broadcast. Of course, this particular afternoon, in an unusual circumstance, we're coming through in the afternoon because we are discussing a topic that is very pertinent, and we would love you to get to understand it and get to know more about it. Of course, we are talking about the debt restructuring program. So great news came through to Zambia that finally our debt has been restructured, and jubilations are coming through from different parts of the country. Different stakeholders are having their say, as well as also express. Is Lance Sani Banda this particular afternoon taking you through this special program or this special interview. Of course, not to forget, I am right here with my co-host, who is Himba, that will be joining me shortly into the studio. And remember that you can be part of the program by leaving a comment, as well as joining us into the studio as we are sharing with you the studio link, because tufuna naife tizio kuti imwe mwichita understand bwanji inkhani ya debt restructuring okapena mumvera bwanji mwebe na Zambia mule mfashani pamulandu ichalo chesu nomba n'abasumina nje ile nkongole twakwata elia at least kuti aba restructured. How to speak restructured muchibemba naishopa. But anyway, however, the excitement is all over, and we want to just get your views, to hear from you, what your take, your perspective, as well as your happiness levels, where they are. And of course, like I said, Himba will be joining me as my co-host. Himba, good afternoon, and how are you doing today?
Good afternoon, Lansik. Good afternoon, viewers. Ninsanza fe sheka lelo bwanama Lansi bwanama ibwankoko ibwanama masma ozolova
kuri fwe bambi ya fimbombo. It's a weekend.
That's good to hear. It's nice to see you, and it's nice to be with you on the screen. It has been long when we did this together.
Definitely, it has been long, but hey, debt restructuring is something that is good, and we just definitely have to share the screen together, because it's a progress that we have recorded, and therefore we have to see to it that we celebrate it. Each and every well-meaning Zambian has to celebrate. And for those that do not understand, this is the time that they get to understand what it is and what it means for Mother Zambia.
Yeah, Lance, okay. Actually, this is also a lesson, even us on personal level. Ngana tukwate nkongole, che tutampe ko clash that restructure nkongole. Now mwenenge chalo chashta naifwe. So you that in Congole you have for me, have to come we negotiate. With very good negotiation skills, we restructure that in Congole. Now to reading a bad example, in Tungurush Nashi reading. So if we left, de kulolera.
Well, don't worry, we'll be able to do that. And our dear viewers, remember that you can watch us live from here, Facebook, as well as on YouTube. Like I said, please make sure that you share the link so that each and everyone can get knowledge on what we are discussing today and this particular afternoon. And also to help us understand further, what debt restructuring is, or what this means to Mother Zambia. We have with us in the studios a renowned economist. I call him that because he has served on great economic bodies, as well as he's an epitome of knowledge when it comes to the issues to do with the economy. And this is none other than Noah Nkoma. Mr. Nkoma, good afternoon. You are welcome. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. And it's happy to be here. And we look forward to an extremely productive and constructive engagement. Thank you.
All right. So to get to start with it, obviously, Zafna Vantu, Vachiteko understand, you will be mixing Chinyanja, Chizungu, Chivemba, because tuna wonse vaziwe kuti debt restructuring ni chichani okapena what kind of an animal is it? You coming from a financial background as an economist, you understand better what debt restructuring is. Perhaps let's start from there and from the announcement that the World Bank made. What does it mean for Zambia?
Lancy, just to chip in before Mr. Koma comes in, we had some leaders who were saying this was not possible. It would never happen. It was a it was just a idiashi. So I'd love also to, before Mr. Nkoma comes in, let us hear what these other leaders had to say about our debt.
Which is my name.
How so?
I was surprised that a person who went to the same university that I went to, the University of Zambia, in the name of Hakainde Sami Chilema, can claim that he has got the capacity to restructure our debt. And he claims that he did economics. I don't know which economics he read at University of Zambia. Because if he read the economics that they teach at University of Zambia, he could have known that when it comes to issues of debt restructuring, it is not something that you can do because you've got Chunsu, or because you've got a Facebook page, or because you can go to live radio and come and talk. No. Debt restructuring is a complex process that deals with creditors, lenders, vendors, financial institutions, tax authorities. It's a complex issue.
All right. So that is a Patriotic Front former media director right there, Antonio Mwanza, doing his politics when President Hakainde Hichilema had talked about debt restructuring and, of course, looking at the economical landscape of Mother Zambia. Mr. Nkoma, perhaps let's start from that note, debt restructuring, what it is, as well as what it means for Zambia with the fact that our debt has been restructured.
Okay, thank you. Nifotokoze kwamba mchizungu, then ni sirishile mchakwaswaini, chingoni, olo machidule chinyanja. Kuti vambinewo konka iprogramu vangapezemo I think ipindu ya mine debt restructuring. Now let me start. First of all, let us acknowledge that as a country we have been extremely reckless. Let us also acknowledge that this status cannot go on forever. There has to be a point when this has to come to an end, because we seem to take so much comfort in misusing other countries, people's taxpayers' monies in the name of what you call aid or loans. Now, we, first of all, are coming from an environment where all caution was thrown to the wind in as far as what you call debt sustainability is concerned. Now, debt sustainability is basically the capacity that any country, looking at the total economic activities in that jurisdiction, the total what you call tax revenues and other what you call economic activities to support a country's capacity to repay its debt are concerned. We decided to throw caution to the wind, and we went on basically a borrowing spree never seen in the history of this country before. When the experts, including the current president, warned that the bubble at some point will burst. We were seen as people who did not know and had no experience in government. But economics is about figures, it's about numbers, and it doesn't lie. Now, what is debt restructuring? It is a situation where you have been declared bankrupt, for lack of a better word. You do not have capacity to fulfill the obligations that you have contracted. We borrowed money to the extent that we had to earn an extremely embarrassing what you call status as a country, where we became the first country to default on debt. Kukangu wakulipira Nkongole. And if really Zambia was a country, by now it would have been liquidated. If Zambia was a company, rather, it would have been liquidated. The country had to reach a point whereby we said, Takangu wa Nkongole tingalipireni, seo tareka kulipira Nkongole. Now, the new Dawn administration promised that as soon as we get into government, we shall resolve the debt crisis. We are basically in a debt trap. Kumangiwa na Nkongole, kumangiwa, that's a debt trap. The president, His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, with his able cabinet, resolved to re-engage the International Monetary Fund and said, yes, we know that our friends have attempted to resolve this issue, but we think we bring ingredients to this process which our friends did not have. And what are those ingredients? One is credibility. I think with my Minister of Finance, Honorable Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane, and the entire cabinet, we are people who can be trusted. We are credible people, and we are going to honor every single word that we commit. Secondly, we want to bring to the table another key ingredient, which is transparency. We are not going to hide anything under the mattress. Vonse vati navo kumkosi tifumye timuje ni vonse, or in the lack of a better word, tiurule. There's a very bad reputation among African countries to conceal or kufisa, to hide debt. Look at what happened to Mozambique. The IMF came in, the World Bank came in. Soon after Mozambique was put on the IMF program, they discovered that there was hidden $1 billion debt. So President Hakainde Hichilema told his Minister of Finance, I want you to comb every room. Come out, bring the numbers. Let's look at the numbers. And they did what you call an audit of Zambia's debt, not by our own internal auditors, but they had to contract an external agent to audit, who is independent to audit the debt. They audit the debt, it met or passed what you call the minimum credibility test. Then after that, we said, let's discuss. We had to discuss and begin to be very honest about it, to say, at the level that we are, we cannot pay. So what we do, can you agree to forgive some of the debt? Mind you, when a loan is not being repaid in the installments that it are supposed to be repaid, it accrues arrears, it accrues interest. So what the government did is to say, we have to undertake what you call a debt sustainability analysis, which basically meaning that tentone patinga pere kuchitiripire Nkongole, pa Nkongole tatiri nazo zonse. And when they did that analysis, it was established under what you call the Official Creditors Committee, and working with the IMF. The IMF did their only what you call analysis, which they came to say, for Zambia to be able to come back on what you call debt repayment, there has to be some certain haircut to be given. They looked at the numbers to say even the interest rates have to come down. So what the president has achieved is basically to convince the Official Creditors Committee. Now, when you talk about Official Creditors Committee, what you do, ni bungwe ya la maziko yete Kongo la kondalama a Zambia. Lomba kamena yamena yo bungwe muli vyalo vosi yana muli ya India, muli ya China, muli ya England or rather UK, muli France, muli Saudi Arabia. Lomba bala pamozi kukala kuti potipa ngongole zira kuli vokuti government to government, boma to boma.
Lance, I think Mr. No is having connectivity problems.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Yes,
Okay,
we can.
so there was an incoming call which I had to terminate. I'm sorry.
No. Okay, thanks. It's all right.
Yeah. So lomba kuona kuti bungwera, which is official creators committee, ka bungu ka vyalo vete Kongo la kondalama, kuona kuti vala ndiye vete Kongo la kondalama zininji, kupambana ava vambi note Kongo la vantu, veka ndalama pamozi, kuika mu tumba imozi yokuti Eurobond. Vezete kati ndalama bave nzocheperera, ndepete lata tenti ya menava haitila na Nkongole zikuleni. That is where now takwanisha kuti tawakakamisha kuti vamvwe kulira kwasu, vamvwe mavuto atili nayo. Because without this debt restructuring, muvipatala ngati mulia mankhwala, vana kuskulu sembo kuyalini, oro CDF yatula president, seme kulia. Ndekuti mwea mutu kurulukire, kulingana na mphamvu zasu kuti pati ngafikira kuti tilipire. Now, what has happened, the next stage now, since we have gotten approval, or abantu batimva kulira kwasu, at tenti wapeko mpata, kuti wafuze, give us, meaning what? They have given us a breathing space to restabilize our economy. Ndepa kuti tenti mukuru kireni, koma tenti ambe country by country, kuti muwere kwasu kuno ku England, tirabire. Mulutesa tuku Saudi Arabia mulabire, mulutesa tuku India mulabire, vala wonse mukayomvwana nao, mukawele na vipepa vati mukasari ndani, kuta seo la India atukuluke teze na chikwerete cha 100 million. Koma India vatikuluke lako 50 million. Lomba pauti kweko 50 million. Vati pako soti mpata ukulena uti tinga lipire Nkongole. Mama uti lipire 10 years. Tinga kamiwe. 10 lipire kwa 20 years. So tikaleta vila vipepa, ndio lomba pauti kutwala lomba kwa IMF. IMF ndio wika wonsa wa pamozi, kuti tamvwana kuti Zambia lomba pa $6.3 billion. Tawakulu kitako pambine 2 billion. Tawakulu 2 billion.
Mr. Noah, just hold your thought, just to come in there.
Yes.
So now, are you saying, ndiye kuyenda kukwenzo enda wa president, utile lote wanvira ati bali uku, maido bali uku, so he was trying to meet that consortium of those countries.
The official creators committee.
Okay.
Kabungwa kabira, I think pamozi vyalo vili 8 or 9. Nikakumbuka ili buno koma nusi la kuti muli China, muli UK, United Kingdom, muli France, muli India, muli Saudi Arabia, I think muli na Brazil wamene omo wasiana siana. So lomba kuona kuti president aba bantu babasimikirira kuti abatinga bakulupirire. President nolongosoka. Vola vida wakachite. Tichite yani tieni tiwaone mwati tingasenzere now. That is where now announcement ilawe panga ku Paris kuti mwe president akende chilema vose bemwe tiuja. Tafufuza taona kuti wewe ndiwe musogolere olongosoka wewe. Ndipo wewe chaufuna nchitukuko kuti vantu vako vatandiziwe. That is debt restructuring pa mwachidule.
So nomba bangoma epe ishire ili ashire kwa confidence investors
kukulupirira kula ni confidence. Munivwisha ngati muntu akukulupirira, which means I cannot trust pa chizungu. Kuti nakumva wewe nikakulupirira. Olo pacha kwasu kuungoni ati kususa ngomwa ni kuivulira. Munivwishisha.
Yeah,
So they are saying to President Hakainde Hichilema, demonstrate your goodwill. We are going to give you this leverage. So demonstrate your goodwill. That is when the president now is going to allow his Minister of Finance to sign a memorandum of understanding with the official creditors committee. Wala bungwe wa na Nkongole. Then after that, a Minister of Finance mkokuva kabiri kuti amsokotwane wali ku India, amsokotwane wali ku Italy, amsokotwane wali ku France. Ndipo lomba nchito ndipo yamba. This is when the real job starts for him now and his team, the secretary to the treasury, the people at the Ministry of Finance, the economic team at State House, to now go country to country now to sign individual agreements in terms of restructuring the loan. There will be what you call forgiveness in that one. Pambine wakati fumireko bambine interesting ngati pa 5 akawesheko pa 2 or pa 1, then inampata olipira soti ukachengati watalimpako. Tikafuma apo lomba kuliwala bambine soti kabungu kala kabungu kama private creditors committee wala bantu ma pensioners wala vetola ndalama zao baika mu Eurobond kuti ndalama zonse zira baje chiji bathandize kupereka Nkongole kuli Zambia ila nao ni $3 billion kula awa nao soti a minister vamene vanatuma committee twao soti mpeza kuti pali wambiri wa ku UK pali wambiri pambiri wa ku America soti nao vafunika kuti vafikireko kuti nao vamvwane kuti vayanu ku tavwana vatuja kuti vati pempata kuti tilipire namwe soti tietikonke mwachitira vayanu namwe chiti tipekoni mpata. That is the second level now of engagement with the private creditors committee. Kuti pambine kula ngati interest yafika pa 500 million pamozi ndalama kukala 3.5 billion pambine kapita kuona kuti nase tundalama tuntoma pension twasu ndiye mtu resheramo vana ndiye mtu tanizi wako ku principle tingafuneko lini koma tifuneko chinji ku interest neo pela kangu pambine ka interest nika $400,000 neo nipeko ntiaka 200,000 kuti nishite chinji nane nikofuza kandi ndiye muni upezeramo chakulya mameno munimvisha. Hello.
Yes.
So this is what debt restructuring is all about. Now, Lomba, what does it benefit the country? Munimvishisha palomba. How does this affect a person in Shangombo, a person in Mtenguleni, a person in Katuba, Kaputa? Lomba kuona kuti boma lomba vaipa mpata ngati amsokotwane every month pa Nkongole benzolipira pambine $500 million every month vakasirija debt restructuring amsokotwane vakolipira zingati pambine 100 million. Munipushisha ndiye kuti lomba yasala yapalulu 400 million amsokotwane niye kuti vangasevenzeshe kukhala kuti ndiye vaina mphamvu zogava chuma chachalo amsokotwane vakakhala na cabinet na president kuti president kula kuNkongole kuti zolipira 500 million lomba tulipira 100 million sota abantu atipa mpata watu 20 years kuti tikalipire Nkongole izi ndalama zete zolipira lomba zatangati zawerera lomba savings tichitirazo tiani ndipo lomba mcabinet kuti tieni lomba titechinji tilovya wambi na asirikali tilovya 5,000 tena serikali lomba tilovya zingati pambina 10,000 kula soti kula kuliye manzi kuchawama tendi keko manzi kuchawama soti uku vana wa skulu uku wankhala pansi valiye maskulu tenti mange maskulu soti uku talangati abantu wakuti atamanga ma SMEs wochitangati tundalama toti capital tangati wankhala ovutikira tenti tolendalama ku Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission kuti vantu vasu vatengati vambochita malonda yosiyana soti taona kuti pension soti pefumira pa PF kuli pension na 5 billion walipire tenti loko tundalama pati ndipre kwa pension kuti nao wakoshita ko tunkuku pambi na wakoshita ko farming all bintu fosiyana. So this is what you call freeing of resources into the economy. Munimva
Free
of resources into the economy.
Okay, so monga pali yamene inkhani omwe mulabira nkoma nzindikira kuti anthu ambiri vaichita receive mu njira yosiyana kuli wenangu vaimvushisha, kuli wenangu ofuna ofaka mondale, kuli wenangu ofuna kuti amvera bwino nokondwa kuti koma president atiteterako ichi chaso. As Ubuntu tinatenga liberty kupita kwa listi mu community nja timvere vantu mwamene vamverera mwamene vamverera bwino kapena moyachitira interpret inkhani ya debt restructuring. So za playing akoche tuma video twamene twa mu community so that mutenge ma views ya aba bantu and then you come and explain more better kuli baja omwe iyo sana mvuishishe koma at least baliko na idea kuti debt restructuring ni chani.
Okay, pambine before tikali ofika huko naona kala video ka Antonio Mwanza. Pambine I can react to it in 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Now Antonio Mwanza should be forgiven because Antonio Mwanza has never studied economics, right? And two, debt restructuring does not necessarily need someone to study economics to be able to understand the matrix around debt restructuring. Debt restructuring just requires a president who's got a vision, right? Like President Hakainde Hichilema, to put together a team of experts, right? To be able to help him to achieve his intended objective. A president does not work in isolation. He has got cabinet, he has got a vice president, he has got technocrats. So what President Hakainde Hichilema was saying to the nation is that I have got the capacity to put together a team of experts who are going to help me unlock this debt issue. You understand? So President Hakainde Hichilema is demonstrating that as a team you can achieve so much. Not the way our friends PF used to operate, where everything was domiciled in State House. No, you can see the capacity that President Hichilema has put in his cabinet. People who can think, people who have got the interest of the country at heart, people who did not create the mess that we are finding ourselves in, but they found it. But they said, notwithstanding the fact that we found this mess, we are going to take ownership as if it's us who created this mess and we want to be part of the solution. So Antonio must be forgiven, for he did not know what he was saying. Thank you.
Zikomo kwambiri ankoma. Of course, to you, our dear viewers, remember that we have shared with you the link into the studio. If you have a comment, you have a view, you want to express yourself over Zambia's debt being restructured, this is a time that you join us into the studio, get to have your say, get to express yourself so that at least we can see on how happy you are in the sense that Zambia's debt has been restructured. Before that, Director, let's get to see if we can have reactions from the community that we got.
I've heard about debt restructuring. But basically, personally, I don't have any idea about it. And people around us are celebrating it. People don't even have anything. Let's say, for instance, like us, like young people, we don't know anything about it. So,
why is Mwizio? Simu matamba news. Kapena no wanda simu na imverepo.
I think so.
Debt restructuring vanaenda kamba na vantu kuti vatandize kubweza nkongole ya Zambia, so vavomera zatandiza kubweza nkongole vachita extend maezi yolipiriramu, so imwe mukamba pobwa
esenkani yanewa celebrate abantu sembabwelako mu makomboni naye sebatuuzaako tamberako kankani ebakamba.
So munga kubwera makomboni munga bantu bane mugulisa pa mamaketi pa marodi mungafune babwera munjira bwanji
bangabwera olofika batifikira ku maketi marodi monse batizibisa babwera batuuza mwamina biriri naye setaziba kutya tanizeza tufika.
No, okay.
Okay, and demand that you can come to
Restructuring.
Celebrations, Japan government is a big funds. Because when I said, I'm in the school of Kawika,
That's name very good.
Same very good. Empira Prigo from Apura. Then set the table of Jabo.
No.
Now vaponyapo ndemanga mwe vachitira understand as an economist nawe vaponyapo ndemanga na mwe vamverera bwino so naimwe mungatijoine mu studio tizamvera mushe kuti mwatijoina naimwe muponyepo ndemanga mwamene mumverera mwamene muchitira understand I debt restructuring okapena Zambia's debt yankaliwa restructured himba.
Thank you so much, Lance. Ukonkanefe nachikwewa tisunu mbonyama mdala. Sekotuzwa nishijalila mdala ndiwambile nishitotambala. You know? Kotuzwa sewa nishijalila okukuila. It will be great. It's really a great thing, and we so congratulations to the Republic, to the president for the job well done. And we appreciate the good work he's doing for the Zambian people. Lance, before we bring in Mr. Koma, we have Muhammad who've just joined us in the studio. Mr. Muhammad, welcome to the program.
Muhammad. Muhammad, are you able to hear us?
Hello.
Hi,
yes, we
how are
can
you?
hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Just give me a second. Let me just put my headphone properly. 1 second.
Oh, okay. So, including you, our dear viewers, wherever that you are watching us from, you also have the opportunity of joining us live into the studio. All that you have to do is simply click on that link which we have shared with you in the comments box. Click it, and then when you are joining, make sure that you allow audio and video, or better still, allow audio so that we can better have an interaction right here in the studio as we are talking about Zambia's debt being restructured. It has been restructured. What is your view? What is your reaction? How happy or sad are you? And what is just your take on this issue that we are discussing, which is at hand? I don't know, Himba, if you want to come in, or maybe I can chip in, Mr. Nkoma, with what has come through, or what has come in from the community as they have expressed themselves.
Let Mr. Nkoma come in, Lance. As I told you, I'm still celebrating. Mr. Nkoma, wait, mass miles all over. You know, when you have a debt, even in a house, life you know. Absolutely. So literally, all I'm asking is let our viewers come in, let us learn, let us talk about this. And I'm so happy that we are now getting to understand that sunga chite negotiating Kongole na muntu ngasuna mkonke kunyumba kwake. So that's why our president yezoenda ngendo chita negotiate papa ata Kongole numukonga uli mufuna nkezi muchalo muzambia abantu akazimu bwera tikuchiteri tikukururukireko tukupase long term bwera. It doesn't work like that.
Himba, in fact, like the members say, at upafiwe mbala everyone ashinji. So it's not different from this. And I think from listening from the reaction of the people who you tried to
Okay, it appears
reach
Mr.
out to.
Nkoma is having.
No,
Okay.
no, yeah, sorry. It was an incoming call again. Now,
Okay,
it is
okay,
very clear that there was lack of transparency, right? There was lack of transparency in the previous government in as far as debt contraction is concerned. And one of the things that you have to give credit to President Hakainde Hichilema is that he has gone further. For the first time in the history of this country, no loan will be contracted by the Minister of Finance without approval from Parliament. The Minister of Finance must first go to Cabinet, make a case that we need to borrow 1 billion, and the 1 billion we want to borrow is for this, that purpose, and the Cabinet, even if Cabinet approves, he still has to go to Parliament. If Parliament says no, there's nothing the Minister of Finance, there's nothing the President can do about it. That, to me, is a very important development in our governance system, which I think it's very important for the Zambian people to understand how transparently President Hakainde Hichilema is running the affairs of this country. From history or from independence, any president would borrow without consulting the people. Mind you, Parliament is a representation of us. We send members of Parliament to Parliament. If members of Parliament want, they can even say, no, Mr. Minister of Finance, we have heard you, but we are going back to the people who voted for us to consult whether they are agreeable to this. And the people, if they say no, nothing happens. Furthermore, there's a serious policy reforms which have been embarked on. For example, there is an issue which basically borders on what you call reforms in procurement. You have seen what the president talks about. He does
Mr.
not
Nkoma,
want. Yes.
sorry to cut you short. We have Mr. Muhammad in the studio. Let's hear his contribution so that maybe you may also get to react to it before you leave us as well.
Okay. After Mr. Muhammad, can I be kept for 10 minutes so that I can also proceed to the other engagements?
Yes,
Sure.
that's why he's sure.
Okay.
Lance, please go ahead.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Muhammad, you are welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, everybody at Umbutu. Good afternoon, Mr. Nkoma in USA. Lance, good afternoon to you in Lusaka. I'm calling you from UK. This is a watershed moment for Zambia, and we as Zambians should be very proud and celebrate the achievement which HH managed to, the new Dawn government managed through HH to renegotiate the debt. First and foremost, we should put this whole deal into perspective of what's happened. We are where we are today because of the previous regime's illicit spending of debt. We are unfortunately going to be paying somebody else's abuse of a debt. Anyway, having said that, we have to celebrate. Zambia has to move forward. It is no more UPND forward, it's Zambia forward, whether you are PF, MMD, UNIP, or whatever. This is a moment in time for Zambia to rally behind the economy of Zambia. That is more important than the politics of Zambia. The politics of Zambia will be changing here and there, but if we cannot grow Zambia to a level where we can be commanding respect worldwide, then we will still be going out with a begging bowl to look for loans and etc. Therefore, we are sitting at the moment with phenomenal resources, the resources which the world is going to cry for, like how oil was the beat all resource during the 70s. We have gold, we've got copper and cobalt, which we can now utilize to benefit our country, value addition, etc. What we need to do is two-pronged as well. Whatever we are moving in development, we should go for. But let's not forget, let's bring to book the people that had pillaged our economy, bring them accountable, seize their assets if need be, seize whatever we need to do, which was acquired illegally, or if they have not, then we should let them go free. But Zambia has to, and Zambians must claim what we have lost. Kudos to HH, kudos to Umbutu for bringing such a quick response to a celebratory cause. This is just a battle we have won. We still haven't won the war, and let's all work together. That's my message of peace, unity, and progression for our beloved Zambia.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed, for your contribution. We really appreciate you. You're at liberty to either stay on or drop off, but would love you to stay in the studio and obviously help continue sharing the joy that you have and also the knowledge. Mr. Nkoma, quickly, as you are responding to the concerns that were raised in the community, as well as to what Mr. Mohammed has talked about.
Yes, thank you so much, Muhammad, for those insights. And I think what the community basically is saying is that we have to do more in terms of sensitization. We need to make people understand, break it down to the basics so that they are able to follow and work with government. Because for any government to...
Sorry to chip in. Let's use vernacular to tipange documents. Exactly. Let's also have a lot of live programs like radio, Zoom, in all the local languages. When such
we have started that. We have started.
Because there are keywords like even Eurobond. We don't even know, people don't even understand what is Eurobond.
Yes.
You know, we just think of sevenze sama words aya so mtu gwahiri hema bankoma ategwa mtu about Eurobond bonse tulijihi ngatwalanda restructured bonse tulijihima torumba bankoma
Eurobond pachakwasi nichirimba, you know, village banking nichirimba palapo mwakandala pamozi ati kongolesha imba ndiye Eurobond.
Not kwenda ku Europe.
Nichirimba Eurobond nichirimba. Kwikandala pamozi kuta tikongolesha vanyaimba pambi na runs. Yeah. So anyway, what I think Muhammad says is extremely important. The corruption that we saw in PF, it was extremely what you call least sophisticated, but brazen corruption. So to be able to dissuade people going forward, whether after as UPND we leave government, whichever government comes after that, they should know that corruption does not pay. So you hit them hard. Do not only recover the assets or seize the assets, but also prosecute. When you seize the asset and someone says jail, it is more painful than just losing an asset. So we think that we can.
All right. Seems like Mr. Nkoma.
Once again, okay. Can you hear me now? Yes.
Yes.
It's the other meeting. They are calling me for the other meeting.
Please hurry up so that you can go and attend it.
Yeah. So just once again to re-emphasize, I'll be, for those who may not also have exhausted maybe this discussion, I'll be on Prime TV at 21 this evening. No. It's a longer program just to be able to further have a conversation around this. So I thank you so much.
And we'll come back. We are making a date.
Thank you.
We'll call you back. We need you to come and tell us more about Eurobond.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Nkoma, for your time. I really appreciate, like always, as I say, you're an epitome of knowledge when it comes to economics. Therefore, we always knock on your doors and looking forward to having you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Before Mr. Nkoma goes, can I have a quick small response to, in a light way, before he goes, on the Eurobond?
Yeah.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
You know, in the previous government, they used to go to Europe to bond in Europe, not to get the bonds. You know what I mean? Take care. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
All right. So thank you so much, Mr. Nkoma. And of course, you are still watching the special interview right here on Ubuntu channel, where we are discussing Zambia's date restructured. And of course, in the studios had a renowned economist by the name of Mr. Noah Nkoma. Like I said, omwenes nakambira monse betiri pano monse bemutamba mungati joine mu studio tankala pamozi so that aliyense aponyapo mwamene achitira understand nkhani ya debt restructuring mwamene amverera kangati mwamvera bwino alistiuzeni che mwamverera bwino o kapena sumnamvere bwino mwatiuza che sumnamvere bwino o kapena mwina ma views yenango sikuti njepe tankala pano tonse tifunga kugwirizana iyayi chifukwa tonse tabwa kupunzisana bonse tifuna list wagwirako aka ukaikira pamozi ni chichankala chonse chikulu chakuti mwankala na full baked information. So vamene muziva bwerani mutiuzeko na mnaimwe vye muziva bwerani mutiuzeko so that bonse pamozi tingankale an informed citizen. I can see Mr. Sainende. It seems like his internet is lagging. Please, if you can, join us back into the studio. And for those of you that haven't joined yet, join us into the studio by clicking on the link that we have shared with you in the comments box. And at this time, Himba and Muhammad, kindly allow me to read at least one or two messages so that we can also get to recognize our dear viewers that have come through via messages. So if we can bring the messages on the screen and get to recognize people that are following this particular program and also get to appreciate them and appreciate the views that they have expressed. Remember, this is a special program on Ubuntu channel, and this is necessitated with the fact that Zambia's date has been restructured, and we just have to talk about it. We just have to get your views. We have to know how you feel or what your thought is. Namwinga, thank you so much. Good to know that you are watching. All right, if we can also get to another message. So Emmanuel Kayembe says, the UPNG has not resolved any problem. All they have done is run away from responsibility by prolonging the period. Another party that will take over from them will find this matter brewing. Is it reasonable to grant imperialist companies tax holidays, then you go borrow? If we don't revive manufacturing and ramp up the mining sector, we may even fail to pay the reduced installments as there is no economic activity going on in the nation. Mr. Kayembe, thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming in with that view, which is very, very important. Let's get to see if we can get to read another message. So my panelists, remember that we take note of these messages and then let's also get to add our voices or our say. Like I said, we are here to educate one another. So my view cannot be thoroughly correct or cannot be thoroughly wrong, but we are here to educate one another and get your views. So my view is my view, and let's just get to share our views. If you react to a view, please react to it in a sober way, in a sober manner, so that we educate one another. Let's get to read another message if we have, and then after that we get to obviously back into the studio. So Laura says, good afternoon panelists and the guest Mr. Nkoma. All I can say is Utayandi Aboloke. Wow, I'm so good.
Abwaluge Abologe. Bolu.
Okay. I am so proud of our president. He has a vision for his people. Thank you so much, Laura, for that message. Let's get back to the studio. Of course, Himba being the only female, I think I would want to start with you. Yes, you are excited, but let's also get to express views. Remember, in reacting to divergent views that you think are not part of your views, let's be as sober as possible so that we educate one another. We are here to educate one another.
Mr. Muhammad had something to say, Lance. He was trying to come in.
Okay, sure.
Can I come in and give a response to Mr. Kayambe's post? Yeah, his
Please
message.
do.
Yeah. With due respect, Mr. Kayambe is, I think, missing the whole point. We are in a situation because of real bad governance in the previous regimes. That is why we went into a debt spiral. What HH is trying to do, or what the new Dawn government is trying to do first, is to contract the debt. Once a contraction does take place, which we hope we will now, we will have extra revenues to develop our infrastructure. Once we have an development, the economy, our tax regime will be collecting more money. Therefore, our ability to pay these debts will be more than it will be very easy to pay off these debts. What Mr. Kiambe was actually talking about is he is looking very short-sightedness. Obviously, from the way he has put it down, it seems as though he does not understand the celebration mode we are in today and why we are in where we are. What we have to realize, forget politics at the moment. We are Zambians. We have to be positive. Let's look at the positivity of Zambia for the future, not trying to petty politics and bring everything good down. Whatever it seems, whatever HH or New Dawn government does, it seems to be thrown down by the opposition for some odd reason. This is not politics. This is ugly politics. I'm sorry to say. Zambia is more bigger than petty politics. And I think if Mr. Kiamba can come on the studio, we would be very well engaging each other on it on a brotherly basis, because as much as he loves Zambia, we all love Zambia. Thank you.
I think maybe just to come in on how maybe I understood his message. I think his message clearly states that yes, as much as we have, have gotten this debt restructured, we shouldn't forget the fact that our economy is not active, especially if we do not set up manufacturing companies, because we may have this debt restructured. And then if we are not manufacturing things, if our mining sector is not doing the needful, if we are giving tax holidays to people, then how then are we going to manage, even if we are given 30 years to repay that debt? How are we going to manage to repay that debt if our key economic sectors are still not functioning? I think that's what he was trying to put across.
Lance, if I can stop you on that one. Basically, where Zambia is today, we had to give tax holidays to incentivize foreign companies to come in. I mean, he's called them imperialists, which is not the right word to use when we are going out to seek foreign direct investment into our country. And Zambia needs big foreign direct investments in companies, especially in the mining sector, because tomorrow's age will be electric vehicles. We are sitting on resources where we can value add. And if we have a level playing field where we encourage all these big electric vehicle manufacturers to come and invest in our country, surely, we will benefit on a tax regime, where we will be collecting taxes to pay off our debts. Not at the moment where we are. We don't have anything to pay. We can't even sustain ourselves. There were companies that were folding and going away because our regime was not functioning properly. It was just corruption everywhere. There was no incentive for everything. So, Lens, where Mr. Kiambe is saying and where we are going is two different things. And you must understand where I'm coming also from. I understand your point where we said we have given tax holidays, but we have given tax holidays in the interim to encourage these companies to participate and still stay in our economy. You and I know we don't have able Zambian companies immediately to take over the mining operations. We have to be very, very, very foresight, because the world over, all the electric vehicles, etc., are being built, are going to be built by all these big conglomerate companies who are based outside Japan, China. If we cannot have value addition in our countries, we are doomed. And that is what HH has been talking about. If you saw how he was addressing the leaders yesterday, it was a very proud moment. He was one amongst the equal. The way he conducted himself. We saw people like Macron. We saw people like the IMF lady or whatever. They were agreeing what he was saying. We are in the Champions League and we have to act like a champion. Let's not be petty. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Mohammed, for that contribution. Our dear viewer, remember that you can also join us into the studio as we are discussing Zambia's debt restructured. We want to hear your views as well. We want to know your excitement levels. We want to know what your take is on Zambia's debt that has been restructured. And of course, we know that mixed feelings have come in from all sorts of walks of life. Obviously, Zambia being politically charged or positively politically charged, the matter has been politicized. As maybe I can say this, if I can be allowed. We have seen the Patriotic Front through Davis Chama that has said that it's pointless for the UPND to celebrate the debt restructuring. Instead, they have to concentrate on the promises that they made to the Zambian people. Of obviously, they will always list the issue of Milli Meal, the issue of farming inputs and all this and that. And then also we have seen, it should be Zaki, just allow me to read this. This was in the news, if I'm not mistaken, where obviously the opposition front, United Front for a Strong Foundation leader, Branch Sengalumbwe, who urged the government to focus on what is critical for the country to generate revenue so that the debt which has been restructured is dealt. So according to him, he says that CDF does not generate any income for us to repay the debt. He talks about free education does not generate any income to repay the debt. So we have to look at what economic sectors can we invest into as a country so that we can manage to pay back this debt. He spoke of the private sector, being empowered and being given an opportunity to contribute in the raising of our economic value.
Lance, thank you so much. Let me just come in. It's really a sad situation to get such comments from influential people in our society, leaders coming out like that. We all know that what we are talking about, Pano, is that we've gotten a breather. We are not saying Nkongole, we will not pay that credit. No, that's not what we are celebrating. All we are celebrating as Zambians is that Batipa Sako breather. If somebody is saying we invest, as Muhammad has said, that we invest first, how are you going to invest? Muyambe business, so basically what we are going through is we owe somebody. And it's so sad that these are the people who are supposed to be our leaders and they are reacting like that. What we are going through now is that we have this huge debt. Let me say, you Nkongole 500 kwacha. Nkongole ina 500 kwacha, right? And because of this Nkongole 500 kwacha ulinayo, sunga gule unga mnyumba. Sunga gule madaipa mnyumba. Sunga lipile marentos. You can't pay for electricity. You are basically struggling because in Nkongole ulinayo ya 500, you need to pay. And then ilina interest pambali, pamenapa. Then in Nkongole pe una itenga, mweze muna verana tusaka missing a payment. Una missing a payment.